afternoon. Thanks for joining us today, Thursday, for another lifestyle edition of the Buzz on Galaxy Television. Today is the 2nd of November 2023, and typically on the lifestyle edition of this program, we discuss issues ranging from family life to relationships, marriages, um, anything, finance, anything that affects our lifestyle as a people, as long as it is trending on social media, because that is where we get our stories from. And this Thursday, I dare say the two topics we'll be looking at, they are very, very salient topics, very essential to our lives, not just as human beings, but as Africans, all right? Because we have to come from the cultural perspective as well. Anyways, welcome to the show. My name is Patience, and I do have, counselors and family life therapists joining us on the program to bring in some fresh perspective, into our discussion this afternoon. Let me start from my immediate left. I have my friend, my brother, and a regular on the show. Join us. He is an educator. He's also a youth advocate, and he's joining us as well as a life coach. It's a pleasure to have back on the show Femi Emmanuel, aka Femi Chacha Naija. Good afternoon, Femi.
Good afternoon.
Okay, it's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me here.
Always welcome.
Looking forward to very, very wonderful conversation.
Same here. Welcome again. Also joining us at the table, first time on this program. We hope will fast become a regular on the program. For years now, he has been volunteering and working with marriage and relationship coaches, all right? And he does have a passion, trying to groom, especially young people, singles, all right, on what they should know, how they should be before they attempt any kind of relationship. It's a pleasure to have joined us a facilitator and a life coach, Israel Oyenigbe. Good afternoon, Israel.
Good afternoon.
Great to have you on the show. Oh, you're looking quite colorful.
Thanks, ma'am.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Also, we have a female guest, but she'll be joining the program virtually. She's a family life therapist, and she's also a lifestyle coach. It's a pleasure to have Amaka Omo Oike join us on the program. Good afternoon to you, Amaka, from home where you're joining us. Hope you can hear me. All right. Welcome to the show, Amaka. Okay, so let me quickly welcome you, the
Glad to be
viewers,
here.
as well. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget you can join the program by sending your comments, your contributions via SMS or WhatsApp message to the number that will be shown on the screen shortly. Having said that, let's go straight into our program for this afternoon. The question we're asking is, can children correct elders? That is the question. Of course, we all know that the young of all social species are wired to assume that adults are always right, especially here in Africa, where culture and tradition, is a very, very important factor in our day-to-day living. All right, here in Africa, it is seen as disrespectful for a child to question an adult. Talk more of a child correcting an elder. Like, what do you know? But then also, a lot of analysts have actually said that kids eventually know that adults are wrong, but they also know that they are largely dependent on these adults, all right? So they sort of like bottle up everything and just take it as it is and accept that they're always right. But then the conversation at the table is there a way around this? Regardless of our culture, of our tradition preaches, is there a way around this? How children, can be more expressive of their thoughts, their feelings, to the fact that they can actually correct an elder when they go wrong without being seen as being disrespectful or recalcitrant. Okay, so why are we discussing this? I was going through the internet a couple of days back, and I found this interesting video, courtesy of a young lady called Okeowo Ifeoluwa. She's actually the daughter of a very, very known and popular Nollywood actress, called Omoboti. Alright, so I found the video quite interesting and I'm like, okay, let me bring this to the table and let's have a conversation around it because it is something that we can relate with. So let's take a very quick minute. Let's go listen to this young lady in this video and we'll come back to the table and talk a bit more. Stay with us.
In almost every African home, there is an unspoken rule. Never correct your elders. It is termed disrespectful. Whether this is a matter of home training or ego disguising as home training, who knows? Times are changing, and in a time where teenagers love it when their voices and complaints are heard, this home training might be causing more damage than good. My first question goes to the mothers. Is there a way that your child can correct you and you would not feel like they are being disrespectful? Now to the Gen Zs and teenagers, has this home training helped you become a better person, or has it made you feel like you do not have a voice in your own home? We'd love to hear our comments, whether you are a teenager, a Gen Z, or even an adult, to hear the opinion of the mothers themselves, so as to know what you would like, and we can finally come to a reasonable conclusion as to how to correct our parents or even elders in general without being seen as disrespectful or onibajo.
Alright, welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's the lifestyle edition of The Buzz live on Galaxy Television. The question again is, can children correct elders? Alright, where do we start this conversation from? Let me start with Israel, okay? So in Africa, alright, children are expected to respect elders, but then elders don't usually respect children, you know. So how can we begin to re-engineer society, you know, to understand that children are also human beings, you know, who have feelings, who have great ideas as well, and can contribute, you know, to social discourse.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for having me. Now, to go straight to the point, I believe that see, the conversation is not actually if the children can correct elders. The thing is, they will want to correct them. I mean, gone are the days where maybe our forefathers, our mothers, when they give them an instruction, they just follow straight up. Nobody.
No questions asked.
But in my generation, because I'm actually representing them, child out guys.
Okay.
So in this, no, I'm just representing them. I'm a youth ambassador too.
Wow, okay.
So in this generation, they will question you. Like, give them an instruction, they will tell you why. Like, why do you want me to do that? And I think in better parenting, we've told parents most times that don't just tell your kids or your children that this is what you want, I want you to do because I want you to do it. They will not follow you. They want you to give them the rationale. Okay, mom, why am I doing this? Dad, why do you want me to do this? So it's expected for you to give them the reason, the repercussion, the consequences. When you give them all of that, they will see it in that light.
So they see through that information.
Exactly, they will now make their decision.
Okay.
So it's expected that we'll do that. So also I believe.
But isn't that, sorry I'm butting in, but isn't that also you questioning the authority of that elder? You actually seeking for more information on something you've been told to do. It's like you don't trust that elder to the point where they can just give you like a straight up information and you follow through.
That's what I'm saying. That gone are the days where you just give a straight direction.
So is that disrespect?
That's not disrespectful.
It's not.
It's not. You just want to have your opinion. Because, see, what makes a family is father, mother, and the children. So that means the children is also a stakeholder in the family. And also we are expected that in our local or family setting, we are expected to have meetings. We have family meetings. So in a family meeting, the children is also important. So we should allow them to hear their opinion. Obviously, when they hear their opinion, you receive it, you know the one, you guide them, you instruct them, but let them speak up. Like, let them say what is in their mind. When you hear that, you know their thought pattern, you know what they are listening to, you know how to correct them. But if you are just showing them that, say, no, you're a kid, you don't know anything. No, I mean, it's going to have repercussions.
Okay. All right, I hear you, Israel. Femi, please help us out on this issue of children correcting elders.
I want to agree with him.
Okay.
And, you know, three things very quickly. The first thing is that before now, we see parenting from the perspective of parents knowing it all, and the children have to follow instructions. But sadly, when those children who follow the instructions word for word grow up, with statistics shows us that they become still dependent on their parents for certain life decisions, and also those parents don't take responsibility for the faults that emerges from the decisions that those children make.
Yeah.
We see adults we see babies in adults' bodies. It boils down to they not even now that it's easier to get married. We find people who round off university at 20, 21, and they still have to go back to their, or younger than that, and still have to go back to their parents in their while married to ask for certain things, because the parents didn't at the onset help these children to be more logical in making decisions for themselves. So a lot of things has changed. Back then, we look at your age to define your maturity.
Yeah.
But at this moment, so many things have changed.
Yeah.
I remember when I was growing up, for you to graduate from the university, you should be probably in your late 20s or probably early 30s. But I know a lot of people that graduated at 19, 20, and there are many people that feel once they have their first degree, they are ripe for marriage. But these are people that are still dependent as far as logical reasoning is concerned. So what do I suggest going forward? I've said several times on this program that the definition of parenting has changed, and many parents need to upgrade themselves. Not just upgrade their knowledge, they need to now associate with people that think alike before they get to certain juncture in life where they will be confused. So going forward, I'm of the opinion that even I do it in my home, for instance. If we can't do weekly, probably because I'm out of the control, we still do Zoom with it. But what happens is we do a review every week. I ask them questions. It's as simple as what's your opinion about the breakfast you took to school every morning? Sometimes when we were growing up, we didn't have options of what to eat. We come back with what we eat and
you eat what you are given. And you thank God because it's a privilege.
It's just that, but I listen, I ask for feedback.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing, these children see what their colleagues bring.
Yeah.
Funny enough, those things are not expensive. But because you don't want your child to beg, you want your children to be able to talk to you about the most minute thing.
Yeah.
You see that we talk about, why don't you tell mom to, instead of white rice almost every time, why don't you tell mom to actually do so and so? And everybody listens. So, that's a good idea. Then I now ask more logical questions. Don't you think that's also still carbohydrate? Don't you want to look at it from the system? When you now force them to reason deeper, they now go back. They will now look at it.
That's basically you agreeing with what Israel has said.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
The fact that you have to allow them or also contribute.
Give their opinion, open up. Then you now show them that you are very deep. You have reasons for making those choices.
Yeah.
By the time you now start telling them, okay, how many minutes do you think it will take to cook so? Are you willing to wake up by 4:30 a.m. so that you can join your mom in the kitchen? No, that I prefer to wake up and say, okay, then we have to stick with this.
Okay.
Now I say no. You can't do that. You take what you are saying.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We'll cover. Let me bring Amaka into the conversation at this point in time. Now, listening to both Femi and Israel, all right, we all agree that the times have changed and it's still changing.
Yeah.
Also, parenting style is changing every day, to conform with the times that we are in. Still, there are a lot of inappropriate Western behaviors that a typical African does not want, all right? We Africans, we don't want to lose our culture all in the name of westernization. So we still uphold some things, so we can preserve, some parts of our culture. So how do we balance the two? While we're trying to raise children who will fit into the new narrative of the world being a global village now, but still have a child who knows his background, where he's from, and respects culture and tradition. How do we balance it?
And like I said, we were having a one-on-one conversation that you like to shake tables.
Yeah, I like to shake
Anyway.
tables, okay.
Anyways, yes, balancing culture and tradition. There are certain traditions that are right. We have culture that are right. Okay, and then it is critical that what is good, I mean, you don't change what is working. We also do that in counseling sessions. If it's working, you don't have to change it. All right? We work on what is not working. All right? So let me even mention, whilst you asked a secondary question where you said, wouldn't it be that the children are questioning the trust of their parents? Is it that they don't trust their parents or what? Honey, trust is earned, is not a gift. It is earned, is not a right. Right? And then your children, you will have to earn the trust of your children. They won't trust you because you are their parents. They will trust you because you have earned it. Okay? So, yes, there are cultures that are right, but there are also the ones that we need to be adjusted. Example is this one we are talking about today. Okay? So it's important that we learn. In fact, that if a particular culture or lifestyle is not producing, it's negative, because even in the days before us, it didn't produce, except that the children were too intimidated to query their parents. Not a Gen Z. In fact, you can see their coach in the studio. They're telling you that he's representing them. If it's before, he's not going to say it. All right? He's not going to say it. Why? Because the children, see, let me mention this. They are humans. In the past, children are meant to be seen and not heard. Any human being who is raised in that kind of environment will lose their self-worth. So they will also lose the capacity to negotiate, which is a life skill. Right? So when they are asking, when they say, sometimes they are seeking clarity, they are not even querying you whether you're right or wrong. They said they're asking to know. All right? They are seeking clarity, not because they want to insult you or whatever. So what could be what we might start looking at is, how are those questions asked? How do they ask those questions? And if they ask, and then we treat it like we treat regular human beings asking questions. Why? Because an adult can ask a question insultingly. All right? So whether it's a child or an adult, what we need to do is how to manage relationships, how to communicate, how to deal with humor. That's what we need to teach them. It's not shutting them down, because if you shut them down tomorrow, they will get into the office. If you shut them down today, they will get into the office tomorrow, where they are supposed to ask for their right. They won't ask, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So when you're a child, you're not allowed to talk. They assume that they're not allowed to talk anywhere. They get into marriage and they are being abused, and they're not talking. Why? Because they've been groomed to be quiet. All right? So it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to say you are wrong. I think sometimes it's even pride. All right? So people are brandishing their ignorance. You don't know something. An average Gen Z human is smarter than 2 generations before them. We have to accept it. All right? We have to accept it. Yes, they will learn wisdom from us, but skills, they are many years ahead of us. Because some of us, when we eventually, there are some things that we are learning this year that they have learned, as in they learned 3 years or 4 years or 5 years old are learning. All right? So they know many things more than we do. So if you are wrong, that's why I said sometimes it is ego. Calm down, learn from your children, so that if they are making mistakes, you're able to say, this is not right. If they are not, you'll be able to say, well done, my boy or my girl.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much, Amaka. Thank you. We have to come back to the studio. Wow, Amaka, all right, just laid it bare like that on the table. But I'll throw the same question back to you, Israel. All right. How do we strike that very delicate balance of becoming a parent who can raise a Gen Z child, all right, but still also instill our moral values, our cultural values into that same child? Because, I'm not a Gen Z, I'm not a millennial, so we were raised with anything your parents say, that is the law. Okay, sometimes a question that the first thing that you are taken aback, like,
From where?
you have guts, like,
Yeah.
so what should parents be doing? Amaka is laughing. What should parents be doing, so that, we can all be on the same level?
All right, Sma. I like the fact that we've agreed that it's not changing soon. So the type of children, our generation, things keep evolving.
Yeah.
So to help, I think one of the things parents can do is, just like we stated earlier, meeting, like in your family, have some standard rules, have some code of conduct that you put together. And the family meeting we are referring to, let it be, if it is weekly for you, do it. If it is monthly, do it. Just make sure that you're coming together as a family. Allow them to speak their mind. Let them be part of the decision making. So take for instance, now if they are making a law, say, in this house, nobody should come later than 8 p.m. So that rule applies to both dad, both mom, and the children. And everybody is going to agree, okay, these are the consequences. If daddy comes in, well, except for maybe international trip. Yeah. But then, he must still agree with them that, okay, if I'm coming late, other than official purposes, if I'm coming late, then you're going to fine me. And any fine you give to me, I'm going to pay it.
Okay.
So let them be part of that decision making. It's just like project management, like everybody is a team. And so there's what they call sprint meeting. You do meeting every day. So let them be part of the decision making process. Let them know that, okay, in this our family, this is our value. These are value, and paint it everywhere. Let it be made known. We don't talk to people anyhow. Let it be known to everybody in the house. Whether you are at home or you are outside, this is our value. And so everybody, they are an ambassador of that family. Let us have that meeting. Let them, keep reminding them. Let it be instilled in their heart. I believe with that, children will know how to talk. Like, they will know how to behave outside. It's not like they will not correct. They will correct, but respectfully. If they want to share their opinion, they will do it respectfully because of what you did. What you guys are doing on that ground. That's in the house. So, parents has a lot to do in that department.
Okay, all right, Femi, you want to contribute to that? Because it's looking like a whole lot for us parents these days, dealing with today's children. Okay, they come with a mindset of their own. All right, what's your contribution to that?
I want to agree with my brother in the studio, and I agree with Amaka too. And as a father of 4, my first son is in 200 level. I don't think I've talked about that. And some of us look back at how we were raised, and then thank God for the grace to really exposure with sinner climbs, other people, and then come to define how we want our children to be raised. Most adults don't do that. They just want to raise their kids the way they
continue.
Yeah, and then it ends up. I'll give you good instances. Take for instance, when we were growing up, 44 years ago, we were always waking up very early in the morning to do devotion before doing other things. But I found out that even then, you were always receiving slaps, kicks, because you were still sleepy. But they feel you were not interested in anything religious. And finally, we end up hating religion for all of those reasons why they feel they were trying to instill God's fear in us. But I tweaked it. I ensure that my kids, in our family, they take their beds, they say good morning, they even have breakfast. And if you see the joy and how so much interested they are in
the devotion after. Because everybody is fully awake.
They are awake and they are alert. They find it. In fact, they're the ones leading. They know what role they're supposed to play. Not one person imposing everything. Okay. Funny enough, my mom came visiting, and she took caution to me and was saying, "This is not how I raised you. The first thing you should do in the morning is to talk to God."
Talk to God, yes.
But the truth is,
we don't talk to God in that order.
You get the point. But with the way I see how my children have grown up to accept and love, they are the one pressure. We were always running away from religious activities. They are the ones always pressuring me that they want to participate. I'll give another instance. There's an unwritten rule when we're growing up that you must always finish your food before you eat your meat. Yes. It was an unwritten rule. Yes. You see, my kids eat meat before, in between, after they
Gen Z.
they do all of that. The funny thing.
Well, I still have
it's a rule. The way I treat it in my home is, it's your meat. But don't ask me for any other one when you're not using it.
Eat it first.
Eat it later. But you know, for instance, mom came visiting and she saw my first daughter. She had eaten half of her meat.
And then she's tearing the meat.
The consciousness on my mom was like,
I don't want it bad,
you get the point. How will you bless this like this? And you know the first thing, I actually was not at home. It was my wife that was around. My daughter responded, but grandma, I didn't ask for your meat.
It's my meat.
I didn't ask for extra meat. And she still felt this. But when I came back, I had to address everything. I said, Mom, I appreciate how you brought us up. Let us bring this year up the way we think it's better. What did she finish her food? She said yes. Did she finish her meat before finishing the food? She said yes. But did she ask for any other meat? She said no. Then there's no problem. It's okay.
Oh, interesting. You know, we might be laughing about this, but it is the current reality of, you know, families where children are not following the pattern by which their parents were raised. Okay, they have a mind of their own, like I said. Now back to you, Amaka. While you were speaking earlier, you mentioned the fact that parents should calm down and be ready to learn from their children. Okay, now it's not like we don't want to I'm trying to be very careful with my words. It's not like parents don't want to learn from their kids, but I think to a large extent parents don't raise their children to have that kind of sense. Do you understand? Do you get what I'm trying? If for instance you're talking to like a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old and you're saying calm down so you can learn your children, that's how mother will look at you and like, are you normal? You know, but the question I want to ask is, when we are calming down, I'm trying, you know, to pay attention to these Gen Z children and listen to them and all of that. All right. There's also that part of, if we totally throw caution to the wind, won't we have a situation where we're sparing the rod and spoiling the child?
Oh Lord, thank you very much. Okay, sparing the rod and spoiling the child. That scripture is most and generally misquoted and mispresented, misinterpreted. We are not saying that everything that Gen Z and the newest entrance generation Alpha, we're not saying that everything they are doing is good. All right? What we are saying is that everything that they are doing or saying are not altogether bad.
Okay.
All right? And that's how every human being is. So we need to be able to come to terms with the fact that they are human. They have brain that is working. That's what I'm saying. Like the child that the guest in the studio there that mentioned that when the mother came and all that. Can I tell you, let me remind us that part of eating manners, a standard eating manners, is that if you have a plate of rice, for instance, before you, you are going to drop your cutlery same time. That is, you will be eating everything pari passu at the same time, right? You're not supposed to leave your meat and come back to it. By the time you're taking the last spoon, everything in your food is supposed to have finished, or you would have been done with the food.
Is it here?
Okay, what if that child has gone to a training and learned that and is trying to practice it at home, and you're not allowing him or her? All right. So we are saying that they are human. They have brain that is working. We're even, some of us, we are enslaving ourselves, sending them to the best of schools. Honey, they are being taught there and they are learning. The first place they will practice those things they are learning is at home. Yes, I support the guests that said family meetings. Include them in family meetings. Let them share their opinion in family meetings. Let them share their thoughts in family meetings. Be able to create that opportunity where they say, Daddy, this thing you did during the week, I didn't like it. Mommy, this thing you did during the week, I didn't like it. Why? Because you will offend them. They are humans, human beings that have flesh and blood in their system that get offended. So you'll be able to say, okay, this thing that you took offense over, I didn't mean this, I meant that. Right? Like the person that also mentioned let's assume that we say 8 p.m. everybody must be at home. Yes, 8 p.m. everybody must be at home, but there are exceptions to every rule. So if there be a reason for which you're not able to get home at 8 p.m., when it's 7 p.m., place a call. Call mommy, call daddy, send somebody. Make sure that you are communicating. Why? Because we're just teaching them accountability at that point. So we don't teach it like a robot. We teach it knowing that humans, things can happen. They can be in a vehicle that parked up or along the road. That can be, if you live in Lagos, you can think that you are planning your way, that you're going to get home in 30 minutes and you spend 6 hours. Are they going to be thrown away because they are children? No. So we'll be able to create that avenue to say, if you're not able to make this up, you cannot now wait till 20 minutes past 8 before you call us. No, you will be able to say 1 hour, 30 minutes or thereabout before the scheduled time. This is where I am, and this is what the situation is here, and I'm not able to meet up with X, Y, and Z, such that we'll be able to, you'll carry every member of the family along. All right? And then we'll be able to say, as parents, we mentioned the other day that we are modeling. That's what we do. We are modeling these lifestyles. So you cannot beat them or punish them for lying when you tell lies. They are going to ask you. Because most and generally, those situations where parents pick offense are places where the parents are not obeying themselves, like I wrote in my book. All right? Parents, obey yourselves. So if you say, when you wake up in the morning, for instance, make your bed, except on the day when you have a conversation to say, you guys have not learned how to make bed, so you're going to be making my bed for the next 1 month. Otherwise, when you wake up, please make your bed. All right? If you say you are going to come back at 8, you that is a parent, show them to say, I am running late at work today. That's why I am not arriving before 8 at home. Because what it means is that your family will be expecting you. So you don't put them under pressure. All right? So, yes, like I started with, we are not, everything Gen Zers are doing is not bad, but also everything they're doing is not
Totally. Yeah. All right, so thank you for clarifying that for us. Very insightful conversation so far on this issue of children and elders. So I think there's like a consensus at the table, and also with Amaka, who's joining us from home, that parents need to be open-minded, all right? Because you are the parent of that child doesn't mean you can't learn a lot of things from that child. So to borrow Amaka's words, calm down, parents, and open your minds. Be ready to learn from your children. It does not mean you cannot mete out punitive measures where it's needed, all right? But then engage your children the same way you engage another human being outside, because they are human beings. According to what Amaka told us, they have a brain that works, okay? So let's put their brains to work. Allow them to be expressive of their opinions and their feelings especially, all right? Let them be accessible to you and be accessible to them as well. So to answer the question, can children correct elders? Obviously the answer is yes. Yes, from what we have discussed. Yes. Respectfully, a child can correct elders. But then, coming from a generation that is not millennial or Gen Z, that's me talking. If you're a Gen Z and there's some kind of corrections you will do, make sure you keep some distance so that some kind of slap and abarado meets you. That's me being realistic. Especially if you want to correct the English of an African mom, please apply wisdom. I'm just saying, an African mother doesn't find it funny. You'll be like, oh, she joy, she made me more in school. You know, like, correct respectfully, all right? Let us know that they are our elders and they deserve respect from us, all right? Even when you share your opinions. All right, thank you, everyone.